Guys, Mr. Bowman here. Today's learning objective is in yellow and we are learning to factorize double brackets. Keyword for today's one is factorizing, and that there is the opposite to expanding. And to put that in other words, we're trying to add back the brackets. Okay, so before we get into this skill in a bit more detail, I've got two numbers here, 14 and 40. Let's just play a bit of a game just to develop a bit of a skill that's going to be relevant. So can you think of two numbers, so number 1, number 2, which add together to get this 14 and multiply together to get to this 40? And how I would be doing that is I would be looking at the factors of 40. So it would be 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, 5 and 8. And that looks a bit, that's all I can think of. And then I've got to think, well, of that list, which adds to 14? It's going to be this 4 and 10. So the two numbers, if we were playing this game, would have been 4 and 10. They add to 14, multiply to 40. Let's have another go at this game. So let's have what two numbers add to 6, multiply to 5. So they're going to add to 6 and they're going to multiply to 5. So again, focusing on this 5, you've got to think, well, what are the factors of 5? In our case, 5 is a prime number, so we're only going to get one pair of factors, and we're happy with that. That adds to 6. That means those numbers would have been 1 and 5. So they add to 6, multiply to 5. So let's have a look. Let's think of maybe what two numbers will multiply, they're going to add to 10, and they're going to multiply to 24. So have a look at 24. What factors for 24 are there? We've got 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 6 and 4. And that last pair, well, they're going to add to 10. There are numbers 6 and 4. And we're going to do one final pair. They relate to negative numbers as well. So what two numbers multiply to negative 3? So they add to negative 3 and then multiply to negative 18. So these ones here will be a bit more annoying, but it could be 1 and, so negative 1 and 18. It could be 1 and negative 18. So they're just really the opposites there. It could be negative 2 and 9. It could be 2 and negative 9. Could be negative 3 and 6. Could be 3 and negative 6. Don't think I can think of any others. So we then got to look, well, which of these combinations are going to add to 3 or negative 3? And that's going to be the last one. So in that case, the numbers here are 3 and negative 6. So that's the skill that's going to be really, really critical to factorizing our quadratics. Now, I'm going to change pen color again. We'll get into blue. And let's just relate what we did to quadratics. So this example here, example number 1, that there would have been the example 4 or x squared plus 14x plus 40. So the number in front of the x, you need to think of two numbers that add together to get 14, and the number at the end, you need to think of two numbers that multiply to 40. We've already did that. We know it's 4 and 10. Our brackets are going to be x plus 4, x plus 10. And the plus signs are in our brackets because that is positive 4 and positive 10. Same is true for example number 2. So that they're related to a quadratic x squared plus 6x plus 5. We looked at what numbers added together to 6 and multiplied together to get 5. And we found out it was positive 1 and positive 5. So that there would be our bracket for that. Again, you can see those two numbers we thought of sit within the brackets over here. And then example number 3, which is down here, that quadratic was x squared plus 10x plus 24. And again, we thought of 6 and 4, so we're going to go plus 4 and plus 6. Those are the two numbers that we thought of that adds together to get 10 and multiplies together to get 12. And the last one down the bottom here, question 4, that related to a quadratic, x squared minus 3x minus 18. They added together to get negative 3, and they multiplied to get negative 18. And that there would have been x plus 3, x minus 6. And I just want to note, the first negative number we've had results in a negative 6 sitting within that bracket. So guys, I'm going to pause our video. We're going to get into a couple of questions by itself, and then we're going to see how we can get on. So let's do another example from start to finish. Example 1. Let's say we're trying to factorize x squared plus 11x plus 30. We've got to think of that game that we were playing. What two numbers add together to get 11 and multiply together to get 30? And hopefully you're thinking about all the factors that it could be. It could be 1 and 30, could be 2 and 15, could be 3 and 10, could be 5 and 16. So we list out our factors. We then figure out, well, of this list, which of them are going to get us to 11? And that's going to be 5 and 6, which means our bracket would be x plus 5 and then x plus 6. Let's have a look at another one. We'll try and include some negative numbers because they're normally the harder ones. So we've got x squared minus x minus 42. So same process before. We've got which two numbers do that. And I just want to note there is an invisible one here. So what numbers add to negative 1 and multiply to negative 42? So we've got 1 and negative 42, negative 1 and 42, 2 and negative 21, negative 2 and 21. We're also going to have 3 and negative 14. We're going to have negative 3 and positive 14. We're also going to have negative 6 and 7 and positive 6 and negative 7. So a whole heap of factors. We've then got to think, well, of this big list, which of them add to negative 1? And it's going to be that 1 down the end there. So positive 6, negative 7. So they're going to be the two numbers that we fit in our bracket. So x plus 6, x minus 7 as well. So we're going to finish up with one last question, just to emphasize what we're doing. So let's say we've got x squared plus 2x minus 80. So don't forget our game. Which numbers add to positive 2? Which numbers multiply to negative 80? So we're going to have a big list of factors here. So we're going to have negative 1, positive 80, 1 and negative 80, negative 2 and 40, 2 and negative 40. I don't think 3 is a factor. 4 is probably going to be involved. So we've got negative 4 and 20, 4 and negative 20. 5 is definitely going to be involved as well. Negative 5 and 16, and then 5 and negative 16. And then we're going to have to think 6 won't be involved, 7 won't be involved, 8 will definitely be involved, negative 8 and positive 10, and then 8 and negative 10. And then it doesn't look like 9 is going to be involved, and then the next number after 9 is 10, and we've already got 10s in our factors list, so we won't go any further. So we've got a huge list of factors. We now need to think, well, which of these are going to add up to negative or to positive 2? And I'm thinking it's going to be that negative 8 and negative 10. So I'm then going to put that in x minus 8, x plus 10. So guys, hopefully you found this video useful. Just to remember, make sure you play the game when you're factorizing quadratics. What numbers add to the number in front of the x and what numbers multiply to the number at the end. If you can remember how to play this game, you can remember how to factorize quadratics. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure you get into heaps and heaps of practice.